So today I'm going to talk about how to systemize your real estate wholesaling business. But if you have not been to our website, check out nextlevelwholesaling.com. I created nextlevelwholesaling.com because I want you to get to that next level. If you feel like you're on a treadmill and you're going deal to deal and you're like running around like your hair on fire and it feels like you are basically spinning your wheels, that's what Next Level Wholesaling is for. All right, I got an assessment there for you. It's going to rate you in the 4 more major areas of your wholesaling business. My mentor helped make this for me so I could get better. And so now I recreated for you. So take the assessment, takes like 5 quick minutes, and it's going to basically give you a confidential score, right? And once you take the test or the assessment, it's going to really give you the very next thing that you need to do to really explode your wholesaling business, get off that treadmill. It's going to become apparent to you. All right, so let's talk about how to systemize your real estate wholesaling business, because in the end, what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for more revenue with less effort at a high profit margin. Okay, I'll repeat that. We're looking for more revenue with less effort with more profit margin. Okay, now for me, how do I define profit margin? Well, if I had to put a number on it, in a wholesaling business, I love to operate at above 35%. Once you fall below 35% in a real estate wholesaling business, I want you to start to rethink where your business is at. We have a wonderful business, and if you are negotiating properly, if you are mastering the no limit selling system, man, you are going to really, really make a ton of money, or I should say have the potential to make a lot of money, because not everyone will take action, right? But because you're listening to this, I know you're an action taker. So that being said, number one, remember, your first job, your most important job is to create revenue, not to systemize. I find so many people, they start out the business and they want to start out systemizing, or they have a failing business and they're like, I got to systemize that. No, and no. I don't care if you are on the phone with sellers 12 hours a day and your fingers are bleeding and you're spending every last darn dollar you have on marketing. Okay, you're going into debt, you're donating plasma, you're starting an OnlyFans account. I don't care. Okay, you need to generate revenue right now before you worry about systemizing, right? Do you hear what I just said? Right? By the way, I was kidding about the OnlyFans account, but what I'm saying is do what it takes. Focus on revenue first, revenue in first position. Get out there and start selling. Get some money in the bank so that you can get some margin. Okay, you feeling me? So unless you've got 25 or 50K in the bank, don't talk to me about systemizing your business. Get 25K, 50K in the bank, and then think about it. Preferably $50,000, all right? You need to generate revenue today. And for whatever reason you find yourself moving off revenue and systemizing and you don't have that 50K in the bank, guess what? You got to get back to revenue. One of my mentors, Dan Sullivan, taught me cash equals confidence. And you got to reserve the right, you got to earn the right to systemize your business, because you want to systemize what's working, right? You don't want to systemize what's not working. Think about it. So if you're not making enough revenue and you systemize it, are you telling me that you want to systemize your broken business? Doesn't make sense, right? You want to systemize what is working. So number one, get it working. Step two, systemize what's working, right? Novel concept. Systemize your revenue. Number three is once you systemize that revenue, it has to be at an acceptable profit margin. There is an epidemic of people who are trying to systemize their wholesaling businesses. And they have like teams of 10, 15, 20 people, and they're making no money. Okay, I got to tell you, if you're listening to this podcast, this should not be you, right? Your business should be throwing off $250K a year in your pocket, no problem, with your eyes closed, right? Then I want you to 500, and then I want you to $1 million, right? This thing should be a cash cow. What I mean is net, because that's the only thing that matters. Don't tell me how many deals you're doing. Don't tell me how much revenue you brought in the door. If you're not bringing home the bacon, okay, then guess what? Go back to step one and generate revenue. Number two, systemize that revenue. And number three, it's got to be an acceptable profit margin. Don't be scared to look at those numbers. All right. Then, okay, once you are operating at acceptable profit margin, you can systemize. You then can systemize. Now, I will admit, your profit margin will go down once you start systemizing, but it does not need to go down a ton. You can still operate a successful wholesaling business, which you're operating in, okay, that could be throwing off $500,000 a year net, $250K net, $750 net, okay, working a few hours a week. You can do that, okay? But you always got to keep an eye on your profit margin. So I'm going to talk about the order in which you hire people. I'm going to give you the nitty gritty. So, number one, go back to this. Your number one job is closing deals, closing big, fat, profitable deals. You should be belly to belly with motivated sellers. You can lock up deals over the phone if you've developed that skill. I'm happy for you. Okay. But when you're face to face with a seller, I'm telling you what, that is when you are earning big deals. 35,000, 50,000, 100,000. I have a very good friend who just did $1 million wholesale deal the other day. Okay. Allegedly, he told me this. He sent me a picture, told me where it was, and I didn't verify it, but I know this person does a lot of very, very, very good deals. And so that's a 7-figure wholesale deal. Are you telling me that's not worth your time? Because he is focused on closing big, fat, profitable deals. Okay, I can tell you this person used to close deals himself. By the way, one of his people found it for him. So that is just awesome. So the next thing is that once you are closing deals, and you know that, and by the way, if you're not closing deals, you got to buy a copy of the No Limit Selling System. That's like the first thing that you need to do to succeed in this business. You got to learn how to talk to motivated sellers. You got to learn how to negotiate big spreads, compress the timeline. Check out nolimitsalesystem.com. This is the tool that teaches you how to actually negotiate with motivated sellers. So check that out. Two is the easiest thing to delegate is your administrative tasks. So setting up your marketing or filing paperwork or closing statements or sending out a deal to your buyers lists or setting up a notary or picking up your mail or paying your bills, whatever that is, you should not be doing any of that. So I recommend hiring a virtual assistant. There's a lot of good resources for that. Check out onlinejobs.ph. You could hire a total rock star for $800 a month in the Philippines, maybe $1,200 a month in South America, Central America, but you need an assistant, okay? And if you don't have an assistant, a virtual assistant, guess what? You are one. You are one. So that is my first hire. And you now, if you do that, you should free up 20, 30 hours a week immediately. And that's going to be one of the best investments that you ever make. So once you do that, you now, guess what? You got all the admin tasks off your plate. And now you're talking to a lot of unmotivated sellers, but you're still closing motivated, you're still meeting with motivated sellers. If you are generating leads, then, and you're on the phone, probably 80% of your time right now is talking to unmotivated sellers. And when you're trying to close big deals, guess what? That's not good. So you have the virtual assistant. The next person that you want to hire is a lead manager. And this is someone who goes through all your leads all the time and finds the cold ones and plucks them out and says, hey, you know what? This person is ready to sell, and they pass them on to you. Now, a good lead manager, I highly recommend someone stateside, native English speaker. This person's going to be making between $3,000 to $5,000 a month. And I know that's scary for a lot of you, but I'm telling you what, this is an investment. If I told you that you could take that $5,000 a month and turn it into 60 grand a month, would you do it? I don't know about you, but I would. I would do that deal every single day of the week. So good lead manager will go through your list. They'll be calling 800 people a day on a dialer, and they'll be sending only the warmest leads to you. So now every day you're probably talking to 20 people, and the best 20 people. All right. You do this, by the way. You could stop right here. You could have a virtual assistant. You could also have a lead manager, right? Right now, you could be doing about $1 million a year just with that power team of 3 people. And I got to tell you, you're closing the deals. You're probably operating at about 60% profit margin, because you don't have to hire someone who's closed. Now, let me show you even a better way to do this. So now you want to add the next layer. Okay, you're only talking to the most motivated sellers. You got a VA handling your work. Now what I would do is I would hire a real estate agent to sell all of my deals. They could sell them on the MLS for you. They could sell them to your cash buyer list. I'm going to work out something that's a win-win for both of us. But typically, I'm going to tell a real estate agent, I'm going to create a compensation plan where they're going to be making between $1,000 to $2,500 per deal they sell for me. If they sell it on the MLS, maybe somewhere around $3,500 a deal. If they sell it to my cash buyers list, maybe around $1,000. And by the way, you do not need to pay these people up front. They get paid on the per deal basis. So that's what I really, really love about that. I can tell you there's so many benefits to that, because now you're going to start to sell your deals for a lot more. This is going to actually increase your profit margin. So think about it. Right now, you're not doing administrative tasks. You are not talking to unmotivated sellers. You're not talking to buyers much, right? And now you're only closing. Now, right now, you are still working on your closing skills. The most important thing that you can do. You're studying the no limit selling system, which you purchased, right? And if you're totally broken, have no money to live in your car, you're listening to all these podcasts for free and stringing it together. Okay. I've strung a lot of this together on the podcast. So don't be like, Todd, I can't believe you're charging for this. Go ahead, listen to the podcast, become good at selling. Okay. If you want to shrink that timeline and get in an organized fashion and learn some of the tips, buy the no limit selling system. It's ridiculously cheap. All right, so now that you've got your time back, you could stop here again, and you're still making $1 million a year. Now you might be like, Todd, you know what? I want to move on, and I want to buy mobile home parks, or I want to invest in apartment buildings. I don't really like closing anymore. You might be at that spot. I don't have a problem with that, right? Because meeting with sellers, by the way, is awesome. There's a thrill to it, but you may feel like you're on a treadmill. At that point, if you don't want to meet with sellers, then it's time to hire an acquisition manager. And I did this relatively early in my career, and this will be one of the biggest ways that you will free up your time. The biggest ways, and I can tell you, it is you're going to make a massive jump, but there's going to be some investment here, and so you might be able to take it from 1 million to 2 million. You're going to want to get 1, maybe 2 acquisition specialists to start. I'd start with 2 because 1 won't make it. Then you hire another one, and maybe you'll lose the other one. Then you hire 2 more, and finally you got 2 that stick. And each one should be able to do about $1 million a year. You now are going to share some of your profit with them, so your profit margin will go down. But guess what? You've bought your time back. Oh, let me tell you, I'm a big fan of buying my time back. Big fan. And if you're listening to this, you should be too. So that investment for me, I still do real estate wholesale deals through my team. I rarely talk to a motivated seller, rarely talk to a buyer. I got to tell you that these people are just gifts, and I'm hopefully that I am a gift to them. So once you hire an acquisition manager, that's really where you are going to start to really get your time back, and you're earning really good money. You got to train these people though on the no limit selling system. You got to train them how to work the leads, on their habits, and so training them is the investment of time. And you got to keep hiring because there's going to be turnover every year, guarantee it. So if you're doing that, again, you could be working a few hours a week. You could be netting $500,000 a year, right? A few hours a week ain't a bad gig. Now this is where I think most people try to go too far or the wheels fall off. Some people are like, I want to hire 5 managers and go to 10 markets and get a manager to manage all of the reps. Hey, more power to you. But I see a lot of people go really broke doing this. And they don't have their systems in order. They try to go down the market too soon. They hire a lot of crappy reps. They overpay ineffective managers. And so, hey, if you've done this and you're maintaining a profit margin above 30%, hey, that's awesome. By the way, once you start hiring managers to hire reps, you're going to start to see that profit margin fall 25%. And so if you're okay with that, hey, more power to you, right? Grow from there. I can tell you that with a couple acquisition managers, a lead manager, virtual assistant, and a real estate agent to sell your deals, you could be making $500,000 a year, maybe $1 million net in your pocket, working a few hours a week. All right. You want to go to that next level? Hire a manager to hire all your reps? Hey, go for it. Just understand that your profit margin is going to go down, right? And that you now are going to have some, different problems. But hopefully, you know where I lean. I lean, at least in the wholesale business, small, profitable deals. Small, profitable teams doing big deals, keeping the very, very best people. You're getting the maximum, juice out of the squeeze, right? And so for me, if I had like a little dream team, I'd have the acquisition manager, I'd have the agent, I'd have a lead manager, and my VA, and you are making a crap ton of money. If you have a different way to systemize your business, I would love to hear from you. If you're watching this on YouTube, please put it in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. And if you're listening on a podcast, you can always hit me up on Instagram at Todd Toback, or send an email to support@nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com, and I'll give you a shout out on the podcast. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Don't forget to head over to Next Level Wholesaling, and I will talk to you on the next episode.